Clerk will call the roll.
Glenn Whitley, County Judge.
Here.
Roy Charles Brooks, Commissioner Precinct 1.
Present.
Andy H. Wynn, Commissioner Precinct 2.
Here.
Gary Fickus, Commissioner Precinct 3. J.D. Johnson, Commissioner Precinct 4.
Here.
Constitutes a quorum.
Thank you. Our invocation today will be delivered by Reverend Michael Gillespie, Sr., a Vietnam veteran, and at Mount Olive Baptist Church in Arlington. We appreciate very much you coming out. After the invocation, please remain standing for our pledges.
Thank you, Judge. Let us bow. Heavenly Father, we approach your throne of grace. We're so thankful that we can open our eyes today to live in this wonderful county of Tarrant. We pray that you would strengthen our judge, our commissioners, so that the decisions they make will be ones that will allow us to fulfill our dreams and put us in a position where we can continue to grow and be a prosperous area, attracting those who desire to come and live out what they expect in life. And then, Father, we thank you for stopping to recognize this day so many years ago in which we saw Saigon fall. We thank you for those who were so willing to give of themselves in their sacrifice of freedom. But, Father, we thank you that out of the ashes of that fall has come forth this wonderful Vietnamese community that's a part of us, is making such a difference here. We pray that all that is done will be done in such a way that our unique diversity is beneficial and it can be shown to the rest of the world how important it is for us to live together and to do those things that not only benefit ourselves but benefit others. Thank you, and once again, imbue the judge and the commissioners with your wisdom such that all that they do will benefit us and glorify thee. This prayer we submit in the name of your Son. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Your Honor, I'd like to recognize Reverend Gillespie also for his service on the Arlington City Council.
Yes.
And certainly Mrs. Gillespie,
Mrs. Gillespie as well.
who is retired, by the way.
Agenda announcements, Mr. Manius.
Thank you, Your Honor. Members of the court, before we get into the agenda announcements, there's a special presentation that we would like to make at this time. And so, with your indulgence, I will ask Mayor Betsy Price to come forward and address the court.
Thank you, J.K. Good morning, gentlemen. How are y'all?
Good morning, Betsy.
We just wanted to take a minute. We don't get to come very often, so I'm making a habit of coming back now. Dennis, Councilmember Shingleton, and I wanted to take a minute and thank y'all for your help with our mounted patrol. We dedicated it back in January, but we particularly want to thank Commissioner Johnson, who worked really hard. So, J.D., we brought you...
Is this a picture of the J.D., the horse called J.D.?
No,
Watch it.
It's not the south end of the horse.
Yeah. I thought those were all named J.D.
It's a nice plaque, J.D., and we'd like you to have it
for your hard work on it.
Let's get him down.
J.D., go down there. Go down there and get a
Come down here.
You track down there, J.D., so the folks can see this nice.
We know how hard the county works and what great partners you are for us at the city on so many projects, and this is a very special project, and because J.D.'s son is one of our finest, we have a picture of J.D. and Jody
If you
here.
haven't been out to Las Vegas Trail and seen the mounted patrol barracks, it's open to the public. Go out there and take a look. It's a great facility. You bet.
We weren't sure when we did this dedication that the county was properly recognized, so we want to do something special for you.
Thank y'all very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And with that, Your Honor, we're going to take several items out of order on the agenda, and those deal with the proclamations, resolutions, and presentations. Once we move into that section, we're going to take item G, which is the National Osteopathic Medicine Week resolution first. And then on item C, which is a resolution which commemorates the 40th anniversary of the fall of Saigon, that will be our last resolution. There's a special presentation involving that. So when we get to those sections, and Your Honor, I think that we've given you some of the material that you needed on that agenda issue. Also, just a quick reminder to the court, the PEBC will meet on Wednesday in Arlington at 2 o'clock at the Council of Governments building, and the IT Steering Committee meets Thursday at 9 o'clock in the Family Law Center. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Dennis, don't go far. We're going to get right with you, but if I don't go ahead and ask for the approval of the minutes from our April 14th meeting, JD will be all over me here.
Move approval. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Commissioner Wynn, I think your motion passes unanimously. Now, we do have a $20 fine for cell phones.
One of the boys paid. Take care of that right now.
I'm glad he didn't ask for a receipt.
Our first resolution is a resolution for National Osteopathic Medicine Week. Commissioner Johnson, I believe you're introducing that.
Yes, Your Honor, and if I can find it on this agenda.
Good luck.
Item G.
Item D.
G.
Or A.
It's G.
No wonder it's on the last page. Okay, Councilman Dennis Shingleton, Senior Associate Dean, Finance and Administration in Texas College of Osteopathic Medicine, and the following students from the college are here: Charles Cole, Rachel Price, and I'm not sure about the pronunciation, I'm going to say Mur Ali, Joshua Hernandez, and David Yee.
If y'all are here,
All those
stand
want
up
to
at
come
least.
forward?
Y'all stand. There you go.
Oh, come on up here.
Come on.
And Judge, if you would read that into the record, please.
Whereas since osteopathic medicine was founded in 1874 by Andrew Taylor Still, MD, DO, osteopathic physicians have made tremendous contributions to the American healthcare system, treating U.S. presidents, Olympic athletes, contributing to the fight against AIDS and the fight for civil rights, and serving on nationwide healthcare panels and boards. And whereas the more than 104,000 DOs currently in the United States are fully licensed to prescribe medicine and to practice in all specialty areas of medicine, including surgery, and are trained to consider the health of the whole person. And whereas the UNT Health Science Center creates a healthier community for Tarrant County by training DOs of tomorrow at the Texas College of Osteopathic Medicine, which is among the nation's distinguished graduate institutions. And whereas TCOM is unique among the state's medical schools through its application-based medical school curriculum, cutting-edge research, quality patient care, dedication to rural medicine, and outstanding student performance in both academic and clinical studies. And whereas the citizens of Tarrant County recognize the need for DOs who are committed to bringing attention to improving the health of Americans regardless of age, income level, or ethnicity, now therefore be it resolved that we, the Commissioners Court of Tarrant County, do hereby proclaim April 19th through 25th, 2015, as National Osteopathic Medicine Week in Tarrant County in recognition of the contributions of the University of North Texas Health Science Center and the TCOM to the overall health of our community. And further, we urge all citizens and community organizations to support this observance by helping to educate residents about DOs and osteopathic medicine. In witness whereof, we have hereunto set our hands and caused the seal of Tarrant County to be affixed this 21st day of April 2015.
I move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Commissioner Johnson. Well, on behalf of...
Y'all get the picture, and then that way we got ahead of ourselves last week, and we don't want to start
Okay.
this.
Councilman Hart, but I want to present this to you first.
Go right ahead.
Picture.
Y'all turn around there.
I won't know if everybody approves of that. Thank you.
Right. Dennis and group, thank you very much. I appreciate y'all being here. Thank you. You bet.
Again, thank you, Judge. Thank you, J.D. On behalf of our President, Dr. Mike Williams, and our Dean, Dr. Don Pesca, they've asked me to be here today to accept on their behalf. But these students have a lot more to do about the success of Fort Worth's medical school than I. So with that, go ahead, student Dr. Cole.
Thank you so much for the privilege of being here, Judge Whitley, Commissioner Johnson. My name is Charles Cole. I'm a third-year medical student at the Texas College of Osteopathic Medicine. Members of the osteopathic community are here today to promote National Osteopathic Medicine Week, where we focus on increasing awareness of osteopathic medicine in communities across our country. TCOM's goal is to provide quality physicians to the state of Texas with a specific emphasis on where those physicians are needed most, which is primary care. Currently, more than 60% of TCOM graduates enter a primary care residency training program after graduation. This is something we are very proud of. Our close relationship with John Petersmith has grown tremendously this year, and we are grateful for the invaluable education we receive as students and potentially as future residents and physicians within the JPS community. The Texas College of Osteopathic Medicine accepts this National Osteopathic Medicine Week resolution on behalf of more than 2,900 TCOM alumni, 1,800 current students and faculty, and all of the school's employees who work diligently to ensure our success and a high level of future health care in our great state. Thank you again for the privilege of being here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, I'm going to go ahead and there are two of our a resolution and a certificate of appreciation that are for ratification only. So I'm going to move approval of the certificate of appreciation for the Grand Master who's going to be making a visit here to Tarrant County, the Grand Master of the Masonic Lodge. And then also Commissioner Pickus has a congratulatory resolution for the city of Grapevine, and I will move the approval of both those items.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. I thought I heard somebody else getting ready to contribute $20, but maybe I missed that. Next, I believe, Commissioner Brooks, you have a proclamation regarding National Crime Victims' Rights Week.
Yes, Your Honor, and with your permission, I'll read it into the record.
Whoa, you got it.
Whereas Americans are the victims of more than 26 million crimes each year, regardless of age, national origin, race, creed, religion, gender, sexual orientation, immigration, or economic status. And whereas victims face challenges in finding appropriate services, including victims with disabilities, victims of color, deaf and hard of hearing victims, LGBTQ victims, tribal victims, elderly victims, victims with mental illness, immigrant victims, teen victims, victims with language barriers, and others. And whereas incorporating communities' existing experts and trusted sources of support into efforts to fully serve survivors will develop a criminal justice system response that is truly accessible and appropriate for all victims of crime. And whereas, with the support of their community and victim service providers behind them, survivors feel empowered to face their grief, loss, fear, anger, and shame without fear of judgment. And whereas National Crime Victims' Rights Week, April the 19th through the 25th, 2015, is an opportune time to commit to ensuring that all victims of crime, even those who are challenging to reach or serve, are offered culturally and linguistically accessible and appropriate services in the aftermath of crime. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the Commissioners Court of Tarrant County, do hereby proclaim the week of April 19th through 25th, 2015, as National Crime Victims' Rights Week, and reaffirm this county's commitment to creating a victim service and criminal justice response that assists all victims. And further, we express our sincere gratitude and appreciation for those community members, service providers, and professionals who are committed to improving response to all victims of crime so that they may find relevant assistance, support, justice, and peace. In witness whereof, we have hereunto set our hands and caused the seal of Tarrant County to be affixed this 21st day of April, 2005. In your honor, I move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
We have with us this morning Lori Clarida, Tarrant County Coalition of Crime Victim Services, to receive this proclamation.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you, Commissioner Brooks, for reading the proclamation for us. I have several representatives from the Tarrant County Coalition of Crime Victim Services with me today. Kelly Willis, who is up here with me, is with the Juvenile Services Department. I also have representatives from the Women's Center, the Tarrant County DA's Office, and Mothers Against Drunk Driving. We are a group of nonprofit and government and municipality agencies that come together for the betterment of our victims in our community. This year we mark our 12th annual tribute to crime victims in our community. We will be holding our event tomorrow afternoon, 3 p.m. at the Women's Center, and Kelly has invitations for each of you. I know Commissioner Brooks, you will be joining us. Yes. Also, Criminal District Attorney Sharon Wilson will be joining us and speaking at our event. And our theme this year is engaging communities in empowering victims. So I would like to invite not only you to come join us, but also the rest of our community and give our encouragement and empowerment to our victims. Thank you.
Well, thank you to you and all the other victim services providers for your presence here this morning and for the services you render to the people of Tarrant County.
Thank you.
Commissioner Johnson, I believe you have a proclamation on financial literacy.
I do, Your Honor. If you would read that into the record, please.
Whereas in our ever-changing personal financial state, where many individuals and families are barely making ends meet, and all too often we hear young adults or recent college graduates struggling with mounting financial debt, and whereas when learned early financial knowledge and skill can help prevent negative debt problems and can also provide a strong financial foundation to help in their future. And whereas financial education plays a key role in helping all people, whatever their income level and age group, to have financial freedom. And whereas organizations in Tarrant County have come together to promote awareness and education on financial management, including financial coaching, financial education workshops, seminars on spending money, saving money, and managing debt load. And whereas having a significant understanding of budgeting, saving, investing, and credit choices will aid in empowering people to make the better decision for themselves financially. And whereas the month of April is Financial Literacy Month, and a coalition of partners have planned a financial fitness fair for Saturday, April 25th, 2015, to promote the importance of financial literacy, to teach Tarrant County residents how to build financial capacity and capability. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the Commissioners Court of Tarrant County, excuse me, do hereby proclaim April 2015 as Financial Literacy Month in Tarrant County, in witness whereof we have hereunto set our hands and caused the seal of Tarrant County to be affixed this 21st day of April 2015.
And I would move for its approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
And if Marion Ross would meet me down at the podium, she's a representative of the Financial Fitness Coalition, and she's going to accept the plaque.
Yes, but some coalition members are here also.
Ooh, we got a moo cow coming.
We got a moolah.
Moolah.
Those horns are real. I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
We need a bigger platform.
All right, I think we're done. Marion, congratulations. Thank you, group, and any comments you'd like to make?
Great. Thank you so much. I'd first like to start off and let Moolah give y'all some moolah. So Moolah's going to give y'all a 10 spot. However, However, in that, it's a little 10-minute checkup for yourself to check on your financial stability. It asks several different questions. So over the last 3 to 5 years, Americans have started saving more money. However, we're still lagging behind when it comes to planning for our retirement. So this event this month is not just for folks who need to save money, but it's for everyone to learn how to manage their money and make it through the daily grind of that. Thank you, Moolah, for handing out the moolah. Throughout Tarrant County this month, the planning group has had programs going on throughout the different areas. The members of the planning committee, they ran and left me. So Mary Francis and Sonia Singleton from the city of Fort Worth are here. Nicole Miner and Yolanda Fuentes is here from Tarrant County College South. Daniel Garcia from BCL. Melissa Burleson and Moolah from Tarrant County's Credit Union. And Laretha Slack is here from Comerica. They're all in the back. So we are here. We've been planning the event. It is this Saturday out at TCC South Campus from 10 to 2. We'll be doing some free credit scores for people, so people can come out, get their free credit score, and have a private counseling session about that. Yes. It'll be a good time. It'll be a good time for folks. Well, he looked at me.
Okay.
Yes. In addition to that, we'll have lots of good giveaways. There'll be people out there to check for documentation, for paperwork to make sure it's correct, and just lots of fun educational things about financial management. So I hope that everyone's finances are up and up, and you're doing much better when it comes to saving money.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Commissioner Johnson, I think you now have a resolution or proclamation on National Volunteer Month.
Yes, I do, Your Honor. And Dr. Joan Jacobson, if you would meet me down at the podium, is going to accept this. She's the Extension Director.
Get your folks all ready.
Yeah. Send this to you, and thank you for all you do. No camera? Yes.
You've broken enough cameras today, J.D.
Thank you, Roy.
Yes.
Any comments you want to make, and then if you will ask your volunteers to come up and just circle behind the court.
Okay. Do you want me to move this? I just want to thank the court for all of your support with our volunteers and with our program. We wouldn't have a program without our wonderful volunteers. And there are, we have with us today master gardeners, if they can stand up, and 4-H members, and we have with us most honored today. We choose different groups to honor each year, and this year we've chosen especially the TIA ladies, the Texas Extension Education Association, if y'all can come forward. And they do a lot of volunteer work in the community, and they serve their community very well. Some of the things that they've done in the past, they've been around since the early 1900s, and some of the things that they've done is to work hard to get school lunches in the schools, hot school lunches. They've worked to get, they can come up if y'all want to stand right there.
No, we want y'all back up here behind us.
Well, we have a wheelchair.
Okay, well, then we'll come down there.
Okay, great. And these ladies that are coming up have more than 20 years of experience. We have from 20 years clear up to 67 years of service as volunteers. So we wanted to take this special moment to recognize our TIA Association volunteers and thank them. We know that we stand on the shoulders of giants, and we stand on the hard work that you all have provided throughout the years, and your support for Extension and for the people of Tarrant County is much appreciated. Thank you.
I'm glad to see you've got a TIA lady who's not a lady.
That's right. I'm sorry. Our TIA volunteers. Sorry about that.
Let's go down there and we'll get a picture.
Joan, get in there.
Let me get out front. Did you get us all in there?
Help Tom, help him with this, please.
No. I don't need Mr. Wilder in my life this morning.
I'm done.
Would you like to move the approval of the...
I would move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Our final resolution today is one on commemorating the 40th anniversary of the fall of Saigon. And one of the things that I try to do whenever I have an opportunity to talk with folks about county government, about just things in general and how things are going, is to recognize the veterans that served in our prior conflicts, and especially those that served in the Vietnam War. And at this point, I know we'll probably have you rise many times, but at this point, I would like to ask the Vietnam veterans to please rise at this time. One of the things that I think is important is, as a country, we depend upon folks like this to keep us safe and to keep us being able to meet like we're meeting today. These folks answered the call of their country. They went and fought. They got caught up at a time when our country was in a political debate. And so when they came home, instead of getting a hero's welcome that they deserved, in many instances they got ridiculed, spit upon, and that was not right. So I believe that we owe them a special, one, apology for the way you were treated, and two, an extra thank you for the service that you gave to our country. Because of you, and because of the way I believe you were treated, we treated the folks who have fought for us recently in Afghanistan and Iraq and in other wars much differently. We gave them the welcome that you deserved. And so for that, I again want to apologize, and I want to thank you for answering the call of your country and doing the right thing, and unfortunately coming back and in many instances not being treated the right way. So thank you all again very much. Now, Commissioner Wind, I'm going to turn it over to you a little bit for the resolution and let you kind of walk us through what you'd like for us to try to do today here.
Yes, Your Honor, Judge, Commissioner Johnson, Commissioner Brooks. First of all, I want to sincerely thank you, and I want to thank Ann Farmer, Jim Duff, my staff, as well as the Tarrant County staff for assisting and helping put this event together. I want to certainly thank everyone for your presence here today to observe the historic 40-year anniversary of the fall of Saigon. Before I do that, I want to make sure that we recognize some elected leaders in Tarrant County who have taken the time to be here to recognize this important benchmark in the history of the United States. I want to make sure that I recognize certainly our very own Judge Brent Carr, our Constable David Woodruff, our District Clerk, Mr. Tom Wilder, our County Clerk, Mary Louise Garcia. We all know. The Arlington ISD Board of Trustees are here, three of them anyway. Ms. Gloria Pena served, I believe, 26, 27 years in the Army as a civilian? 37. 37. That's a way to serve again. Dr. Aaron Reich, who is the Secretary of the Board of Trustees of Arlington. And Mr. Peter Barron is a Marine who served in Vietnam. Constable Dale Clark, who served as an instructor in the Air Force during the Vietnam War era. We certainly have Reverend Michael Glaspie and his wife, who were, Reverend Glaspie was an M60 gunner during the Vietnam War, okay? So you always wanted to be right next to him, okay? We certainly want to recognize Council Member An Trung of Harlem City, who also was a fighter pilot in the Republic of Vietnam Air Force. Wow. I want to recognize Jared Jackson, who is a field representative representing Congressman Vesey. Thank you for being here. And also Mr. Josh Fingenbinder, who represents Representative Tony Tinderholt. And I don't know if I have missed anybody. If I did, I apologize.
There's someone from.
I want to recognize Ms. Sharon Wilson, our district attorney, is here as well. There is a representative for State Representative Nicole Sawyer is here as well. Collier. This benchmark in time is of a special significance to myself, to my family, and to many Vietnamese who live here in Tarrant County and around the world, and especially to those who were in the thick of things, for lack of better words. It's not easy for me to do this because it can be very emotional. And it's not about politics. And it's not about trying to make things right. It really is about an understanding and awareness and a deep appreciation that I have, that I think we all should have, for those who fought in that war. There were many misunderstandings, much debate about that war. But after 40 years, I strongly believe if you've taken the time to review some of the secret documents that have been released by the Department of Defense, you will come to the realization that that Vietnam War wasn't a civil war. It wasn't a war started by Vietnamese. It was a war between the freedom-loving people of the world and the expansion against the expansion of communism. And those two powers decided to pick Vietnam as the battleground. And that was exactly what happened. All men and women of both the American military and the Republic of Vietnam military, we fought very well. We won many battles, but ultimately, we lost the war due to political reasons. It is a fact that when the president of South Vietnam asked United States Congress for an additional $33 million so they can fill up their gas tank and have more ammunition, the Congress at that time denied. And the war ended. It's very hard to fight the strongest army, one of the strongest army in the war at the time, with no gas in your tank, no shells in your artillery, no ammunition in your M16s. Many lives were lost during the war and after the war, not 3,000 or so. Many of us experienced the homeland attack of 9/11, and that left an impression on us. And I don't want to downplay the significance of that event. But if you take that tragic event of 9/11 and multiply it by 1 billion, and that will help you relate a little bit to the suffering and the death and the destruction that those of us who have been through the Vietnam War experienced. After the war, hundreds of thousands were imprisoned in hard labor camps, and millions died in the Pacific Ocean and in the jungle in search for freedom. But out of the ash of that destruction and that pain and suffering, beyond any human comprehension, came the Vietnamese American community. I'm one of them. I'm a living proof of perseverance, of continue to move forward in belief of righteousness, of liberty. And at the risk of sounding cliche, the same Vietnamese who lived in Vietnam, who struggled day by day, who couldn't make ends meet, the same group of Vietnamese prosper in the United States through their hard work, but most importantly, through the environment that is available in America. And I think we want to recognize that. The opportunities available to each and every one of us, the freedom, the hard work, the sacrifice of the American forefathers have made these opportunities available to us. The same group of people, two different environments. That is a testimony to democracy and freedom and justice and the respect for human rights. Like oxygen and water, sometimes we don't think of it as essential to sustaining life. We take it for granted. Sometimes we abuse it. But let the 40-year anniversary of the fall of Saigon remind us about the value of liberty, the value of democracy, the value of justice, and remind us of our duty as citizens of this great country to respect such values and work to authentically preserve those values. And that is the whole purpose of this ceremony, and I want to thank all of those who have served in Vietnam, whether you are Vietnamese in the Republic of Vietnam or whether you are with the United States military. Without you, without your sacrifice, I certainly wouldn't be here. So I would like to ask all those who served in the Republic of Vietnam to please stand to be recognized. Keep standing, please. Làm ơn mọi người cùng tiếp tục đứng. Please keep standing. I also like to invite those who serve in the United States military during the Vietnam era or in the Vietnam War to please stand. Keep standing, please. I would like to invite those who came to this country by escaping via the Pacific Ocean or the jungle of Southeast Asia or via airplane. But you came here because you wanted freedom. You want to get out of that hellhole. And you want to come here because of freedom. I would like to invite you to stand. Thank you so much for continuing to serve this country and to serve our community. You and your sacrifice shall not be forgotten. Thank you so much. You can be seated, please. We have a short video to show you a little bit of the process, the progress of the past 40 years. But before I do that, I want to recognize my in-laws who also served as a helicopter pilot in the Republic of Vietnam, my father-in-law there. Certainly, I want to recognize Julie, my wife, there too. Thank you for being here, honey. Can we show a short video? some of the image before the war. It was some of the fighting scenes during the siege of Saigon during April 1975. American and Vietnamese soldiers fought side by side, you can see. This is the communist tank breaking down the Independence Palace. It was in Camp Pendleton. Operation Frequent Wind. Hard labor camp after the Vietnam War. Arrival in the United States. The first Vietnamese American general in the U.S. Army. Judge, would you please read the resolution into the record, please?
Whereas April 30th, 2015 marks the 40th anniversary of the fall of Saigon, which represented the end to the heroic defense of freedom in the Republic of Vietnam from communism. And whereas the Vietnam War was tragic for so many South Vietnamese, and they are honored and remembered for their sacrifices for freedom and human rights, and whereas with the upcoming 40th anniversary of the end of the Vietnam War, we must honor our fallen Americans and South Vietnamese and those left among us who served so nobly. And whereas we must always pay tribute to the members of the Republic of Vietnam and the United States Armed Forces, including the members of our Tarrant County family, who served so bravely, and we must remember that freedom comes at a significant cost. And whereas the Vietnamese who resettled in the United States after the events of April 1975 have, through preservation and hard work, rebuilt their lives and formed a vibrant community across the greater Tarrant, Dallas County area, Texas, and the United States. And whereas it is important that our children and future generations remember what we learned from the Vietnam War and continue the pursuit of liberty, so that the tremendous sacrifice has not been made in vain. And whereas with all the pain and suffering the war in Vietnam caused, we shouldn't dwell on the past, but look forward toward the future and maximize the opportunities that America has to offer. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the Commissioners Court of Tarrant County, do hereby acknowledge the great tragedy during and after the Vietnam War and sacrifices made for freedom and human rights, and further that we vow to continue to observe April 30th in the solemnity and reverence, and also to encourage people to continue to advocate for freedom and prosperity in the United States, Vietnam, and throughout the world. In witness whereof, we have hereunto set our hands and caused the seal of Tarrant County to be affixed this 21st day of April, 2015.
And I move for its approval.
Second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Your Honor, would you ask the clerk to show a second from the entire court?
Yes, please.
I would like to invite four groups of people. The first are representatives from the Tarrant County family who either served during the Vietnam War era or actually during the war. I'd like to invite Judge Brent Carr. He needs no introduction. I also like to invite Bob Montgomery, who is currently work as a case manager of Tarrant County Veterans Court, served in the Army, years of service, June 1967 to June 1969. Years of service in Vietnam in November 1967 through November 1968. Served in the 101st Airborne, and his significant duty was the collection and transportation of remains of the service members killed in action. I also would like to bring forward Mr. Michael Killam, who's also with the MHMR, Tarrant County, U.S. Army, 173rd Airborne, 4th Army. Day of service, 1968 to 1970. He served in Vietnam from March 1969 to March 1970. His assignment was a helicopter machine gun and door gunner. His helicopter was shot down. He held as a prisoner of war and subjected to torture and escaped the capture 3 days later. And I also like to invite a representative from the American Legion. I believe we have Mr. Bill Owich, the Vice Commander of the American Legion Post 624, and Mr. Alan Robart, Past Division Commander. Both are Marines. Both served in Vietnam as well. I'd like to invite forward Mr. Tony Nguyen, who is the Vice Chairman of the Vietnamese American Community of Tarrant County. And lastly, I would like to invite Ms. Katie Pham, who represents the Vietnamese American Leadership Summit, which will be held in June in Washington, D.C. She represents the second generation of Vietnamese American in this country. I would like to present these resolutions to y'all, if I can carry it off. Need some help? You don't? Sure. You see, in Tarrant County, we work together.
Yeah, I see we're doing your work for you here.
We'll take pictures later. Okay.
You're not.
I would like to invite each of you, if you would like to make some comment, and then we'll get up, take pictures with the Commissioners, board members, and I invite everybody to kind of gather around closer to take a picture while we can take a short break.
You want to address the court? Let me pull this up here for you real quick. There you go.
Commissioners, this is a great day, and we at the American Legion always love to see it when you're honoring veterans from no matter where they're at. We salute you and thank you for this day.
Thank you, Shep.
I'd just like to say I served from 65 to 71, and it was the Navy, not the Marines.
On behalf of myself, Bob Montgomery, Judge Carter, and the Veterans Court staff, very appreciative of this proclamation, and kind of choked up because as the film went on, I was thinking about my brothers at 101st Airborne.
101st
We
Airborne.
didn't make it back, but we
Absolutely.
appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
On behalf of the Vietnamese American Leadership Summit, I just want to say thank you and for all the future leaders of Vietnamese Americans. I am the byproduct of the perseverance, of the sacrifice, of the hardship that everyone endured, the veterans, the country as a whole, Vietnam in here, that sacrificed so much to give me the opportunity to be where I am today, to have the opportunity for free education, to just do whatever I want to do in life and have the freedom to achieve whatever I want. I love that. Thank you so much.
I first need to make the record clear. I'm a post-Vietnam War Marine, hoorah. But I'm very proud to work with both of these guys. I'd like to introduce one other person, Richard Welch, sitting there, a Purple Heart recipient from the Vietnam. And I know that I speak on behalf of Bob that us having the honor of working with the Veterans Court, it's the least we can do, and every day we work with it. It just brings us more strength, and it's a great program, and we're very glad to thank you for supporting it. Thank you.
Please understand, the Veterans Court would not exist without that man right there.
Absolutely.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Judge, Commissioner Nguyen, Commissioner Johnson, and Commissioner Brooks, on the behalf of the Vietnamese community of Tarrant County, we solemnly accept this resolution. And thank you very much for your hard work to make this resolution possible. And thank you, America, to give us freedom and to make up wherever we are today. Thank you very much.
Michael, would you share your story?
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning. Good morning.
This kind of snuck up on me, and I wasn't prepared to say anything, but on the way over here this morning and yesterday, I had a lot of thoughts about it. First of all, I didn't know it had been 40 years. But I actually left Vietnam 47 years ago. 8 years ago, I was in an abandoned storage unit on Camp Bowie Boulevard. And I'd lost everything in my life for about the third or fourth time. When I first got to Vietnam, it was my last year as a teenager. And they gave me a lot of weapons. And for an old farm boy from San Angelo, Texas, I love weapons. And I was really very diligent with those weapons. And they made me a door gunner on a helicopter. And there was a time where I felt very powerful. I had power over life and death. I could decide who would live and who would die. I became like God. And then I got captured, and that was a real bad time. And after that, there was no God, not even me. And I lived that way for a long, long time. I came home, and I ran a gauntlet in Washington State. People spitting on me and calling me a baby killer. And I'd done a medical evacuation of an orphanage in Vietnam. And my third trip back to pick up bodies and stuff, I found a little baby. And it had something stuck in its chest. And when I pulled it out, its last breath came out. And I thought I'd killed it. And when they called me a baby killer, I just wondered how they knew that. And I have 5 kids, and every time one of them was born, I wouldn't go near it because I was afraid I'd kill it. 8 years ago, I was spoon-fed alcohol by some old drunks. Well, I say old drunks, members of Alcoholics Anonymous, for 3 days until I quit shaking, and they took me to MHMR, Pine Street. And I went to the ambulatory detox program, where I stayed upstairs at night. I came back downstairs during the day, and I did all my paperwork to go to Bonham Hospital, Sam Rayburn Memorial Hospital. And I stayed there for 1.5 years. And 4 months of that was at the Combat Trauma Unit in Waco. And I stayed there 15 weeks with combat veterans from Vietnam. And I found out, first of all, I wasn't alone. And second of all, we had all tried to recover by ourselves, and we were complete failures at it. But when we helped each other, when we put recovery first as a group, most of us made it through it. I owe everything I have today to those Vietnam veterans who helped me learn how to listen, learn how to talk. MHMR, who gave me a place to stay when I didn't have a place. And after I finished Bonham, I went to Grayson County. I stayed in Denison with my sponsor, real close to my sponsor, for another 1.5 years. And I got my drug and alcohol abuse counseling certificate. And an old counselor called me from here and said they were going to open a veterans program and I might want to apply. And I was hired. And those first 4 years that I worked for MHMR, my office was about 10 feet from where I used to sleep when I first came in. So there have been miracles that have happened in my life, miracles that were brought on by you good people. I owe a deep debt of gratitude to everyone in Tarrant County. And my very life depends on me helping other veterans recover. I don't want our kids to go through 40 years of sickness trying to get well. I want to give them the knowledge that I picked up and give them the coping skills to last the rest of their lives. Because I don't know if y'all know it, but soldiers with a mission, we're tenacious. We're tenacious. We become great citizens. We just need help now and then. Thank you very much.
Mr. Killam. Mr. Killam talked of his time with MHMR. I will tell you that they speak extremely highly, Mr. Killam, in the work that he's done. And I think he surely is an example of someone who doesn't give up, who is tenacious, who makes sure that he's going to do everything he can now to help other folks who have gone through maybe just a fraction of what he's gone through, to understand and to know that there's someone out there who cares for them, who wants to help them through it, who is not there to judge them, but there to help them. And the folks at MHMR say that this is the man that will take care and will do that, and we cannot thank you enough for everything that, one, for your service and everything you've been through, but even now, in the face of everything that you've been through, to dedicate your life to be around folks and to help them hopefully not have to go through some of the stuff that you've had to go through over the last 40 years. So again, thank you very, very much for your service.
Thank you. I would like to invite all of y'all to come up and take a picture with members of the court, and everyone to kind of line up in the horseshoe here, so we can take a group picture. Your Honor, can we take a quick one?
Take whatever picture you want.
And I want to end this ceremony with a really good note. If you saw the video, do you remember pictures of babies on a C-130?
Yes.
Miss Sharon Wynn, she works for criminal court administration. Her husband, Locke Wynn, was one of those babies. Cho mời mọi người lên đứng đây để chụp tấm hình ạ. I would like to invite everyone to come up so we can take a picture.
Up in the center, okay? All right, there we go. Thank you. All right. Yes, that's good. Thank you. All right, there you go. All right. Hi there.
Hi, how are you?
Well, I'm doing fine. Let's see if we get everybody.
And we got more room over here. Okay. There you go.
All good still of it.
We're going to take one more.
You did change that.
Can we get up here?
Okay, and glasses.
Mấy cái rồ em nó thử cái vòng được không? Cái rồ quá, mấy cái rồ đó nó lại. Nó lại cái câu lên, nó lại.
Okay, Kelly, take one picture and then we're gone.
I was over moving it that way, I take it. After the picture.
Just like give it back here?
What?
Just like speak from back here?
No, we're going to force you to walk up there.
My mask ought to be here.
Walk the same.
My mask ought to be in about 30 minutes. So.
Some kind of Razorback or gig.
Well, we've had everything else in the Big 12s and Big 10s.
Go for it.
All right, Russell. We got about 15, 20 minutes and we're there. Real minutes or county minutes? Kind of like dog years. Yeah. All right, let me see what I can do.
Okay, thank you.
Excuse me. No, I got it. Thank you. Thank you, though. Hey, Kathy. How are you? What? Yes. The pleasantries are almost over with. Now we get down to business. Thomas, how you doing this morning?
Commissioner Wynn.
Come on in there, Judge. Well, I think we're through. Okay. Now, we'll take it. Good to see you, too. Yes, sir.
You all right? Thank you so much. Hold on, let me pull this chair out of the way so you can come down. No problem. Can you come this way?
I think we're going to take just a little bit of a recess while we kind of get everything back in place. So.
See you later, Mr. Settle.
Okay, did we pass all them resolutions?
Yes,
sir.
From consent at this point.
Now we've got consent.
We didn't read all of them. You want to go back and read them?
No, I'm fine. I'm fine where we are right now. I think we got it all done. So, court members, you have before you our consent agenda.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Public hearing. Ms. Ward.
Good morning. We're requesting that the Commissioners Court conduct a public hearing to consider the draft of the 5-year Consolidated Action Plan. It determines the priorities for Community Development Block Grant for home and for Emergency Solutions Grant from 2015 through 2019. It focuses on affordable housing, homeless activities, non-housing community development activities, and special needs population activities. There are copies of the draft consolidated plan throughout the county available for the view by the public. And at this time, we're requesting you hold a public hearing.
This is a public hearing, so I'll ask if there's anyone here. I'll open the public hearing and see if there's anyone here wishing to speak to this matter. Appearing to be none, then we will close the public hearing.
There's no action required at this time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Manius.
Thank you, Your Honor. Members of the court, we have 3 additional items for the court this morning. The first one, we're requesting that the court approve a resolution and order authorizing the issuance of Tarrant County Hospital District limited tax refunding bonds and require that the district return the fully executed sale documents to the court within 21 days after final execution.
Move approval. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Members of the court, on item number 2, we're requesting that the court approve and concur with the actions of the Board of Managers of the Hospital District of a construction contract and budget between the district and KHK Group in the amount of $793,075 and approve the overall budget in the amount of $1.2 million to cover all project costs. This concerns the renovations to move the orthopedic sports medicine clinic to Barden Street.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Finally, members of the court, on item number 3, we're requesting that the Commissioners Court approve a contract for legal services between the county and Gober Hilgers, acting through Ross Fisher as it relates to providing an opinion as far as judicial disqualification. This opinion will be given to the Honorable David Evans.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
I move approval of the claims recommended by the Risk Management Board.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the claims recommended by the Risk Management Board. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Ms. Glenn?
I move to receive and file personnel agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to receive and file the personnel agenda. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Commissioner Johnson. We have 2 additional items, both we're requesting out-of-class pay extensions. Item 2, we're requesting an out-of-class pay extension for Veteran Services. Mamie Glover has been acting as the Director at Veteran Services since May of last year. Mr. Belton takes his assignment on Monday, May 4th. This, if approved, will pay continue to pay Ms. Glover for out-of-class pay through May 3rd.
And that's when the new director's coming on?
He takes his position on May 4th.
Where'd he go? I'll second.
He may be going through processing at this time.
Yes, we're processing him this morning. He may be done at this time. We started at 9 o'clock, so we can see if we can find him.
He was wandering around here a few minutes ago, so he's either through processing or he's still wandering.
Okay. I think
Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. If is he walking around or is he? Okay. When he has a chance, tell him he can come on in and meet the county. Go right ahead.
Thank you. Our last item, we're asking the court to approve an out-of-class pay extension, this time for community development. We've had Ms. McGee, who assumed the duties of the assistant director when Mr. Kramer left last year. We're requesting an extension through July, which is just a few months away. This is a grant-funded position, so we're looking at costs a little bit more than $1,000.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Judge. If I could take just 1 minute, please, sir. I want to remind county employees that we're going to be hosting our 2 pre-retirement planning seminars. We have one
Don't look at me.
tomorrow. Okay, I won't look at you. We're having one.
A little sensitive. He's coming
I guess
up on an
so.
election. He
Sorry
doesn't like
about
to be
that.
talking about retirement.
Sorry about that. So we have one tomorrow, Wednesday, from 8 to noon here in the courtroom. And then we have the second one Thursday from noon to 4 o'clock. Both meetings have the exact same information. We have a representative from TCDRS, I won't look that way, who is going to be present to talk about our benefits through TCDRS. We also have a gentleman from Social Security, Mr. Clark, who we've had join us for the past couple of years. They do a very good job of explaining all of our retirement benefits. We also have a representative from HR to talk about it, retirement from the county perspective. So I have a few flyers. I will leave them here as I take my seat. And I'm not looking at
I attended one of these about 15 or so years ago, and there was a lot of speculation around the county after I sat in on it.
Well, you could probably borrow that moo cow outfit if you liked it, and nobody know it was you that came in.
I might do that.
Mr. Beecham.
I apologize, our mascot couldn't be here today, but it's good to see little Bevo.
I thought he was in here and just didn't have his regular uniform on.
We have 2 items for your consideration this morning. Our first item is an RFP. It's a bid order recommendation for RFP 2015-060. It's an RFP for IT staffing augmentation services. Our recommendation be to award on a pre-enterprise basis, awarding to the primary, secondary, alternates 1, 2, and 3 as shown in the corporate communique.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I have a couple questions. Jack, what's the value of this contract?
I'll let Mike or Chris, who's going to speak. My understanding is it could be as much as a couple $1 million, but I'll let them answer that question directly.
A couple $1 million?
Yes, sir.
How are we going to use, you have a primary vendor and then you have a secondary. How is that going to work?
We will contact the primary vendor first, give them a certain amount of time to bring those resumes to us. If they aren't successful, we'll go down the list.
Okay. And how do you attribute the primary vendor is not a hub or a minority versus the secondary is a hub? Is there any system that kind of rectify that situation?
No, sir, since
that wasn't in your consideration at all.
It's not consideration. However, our good faith effort of 20% is always a consideration, but that does not allow us to move a hub vendor in front of a non-hub vendor.
Okay. So we have a 20% good faith effort.
Yes, sir. We track those numbers every year. That's in our budget numbers, and last year, if I remember, oh gosh, I'd rather not throw out that number in an open session. I have the number at my desk, but we've exceeded that to that 20% for the last few years.
Okay. Well, I have no doubt in the way you guys evaluate your award and so forth. But I would like for us to take a look at. I notice a lot of IT contracts have been given to non-MBE or non-hub businesses. So perhaps there's a way that we can rearrange the way we consider contracts and so forth and make it a little bit more attainable for the smaller company and the historically underutilized businesses to win some business from Tarrant County. If you don't mind, take a look at that process to see if that's a possibility.
Some of the things that we do, I can tell you that we've done this for, 19 and a half years. Tarrant County is one of the few counties in the state that all our bids are not all or none. We award by unit price. Sometimes we do by category. We award by the category. So most vendors get an opportunity to have some of the business. The process that we've established several years ago for normally a primary, a secondary, at least an alternate award, 1, 2, 3 deep. We went deeper with this one because of the contract itself. Normally, those secondary and alternate vendors, 1, 2, or 3, get some of the business. That's the value of splitting that up, allowing the smaller companies to compete with the large companies. It takes extra time, but it's time well spent.
You have, I don't know, I'm sorry, go ahead, Commissioner.
Commissioner, I'm glad to hear that speech come from someone other than me for a change. What Commissioner Wynn is asking is for you to see if there is a way to award additional points in the evaluation process to Hub or MBE vendors.
I would defer, I'll certainly check it out. I would defer to the DA's office. If that's the decision that the court will reach, then we can certainly go that direction.
Bring back an answer.
We hear exactly what you're saying. It will let us get back with you on
Okay. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
And our last item is item in regards to RFQ 2015-084. This is an RFQ for supplier of vaccines supplied by American company. We are recommending rejection of all bids and asking permission to rebid with revised specifications.
Move for approval.
Second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
You can give your $20 to GK as you come back in the room.
Who was that?
Tina.
Are there any appointments? There being none, then you have before you the claims, including the addendum.
Move approval.
Second. We have a motion to second to approve the claims, including the addendum. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Legislative items, Mr. Manius?
Just one comment, Your Honor, members of the court. Senate has passed their version of the budget. I believe that the House is also, and will probably be going into conference. That's still one of the biggest things. We still have some bills that we are monitoring. Mr. Mendez has provided a memo to you, and we'll be more than happy to answer any questions you may have. If there are none, Your Honor, that's all the briefing, and that's all we have this morning.
And with that, we will recess our open meeting and proceed to close to discuss items exempted under 551.071, 072, 074, 076, and 087 of the Texas Government Code. Having returned from our closed meeting and there being no business to conduct at this time, we are adjourned.